My beloved child, I watched you in the moment no one else saw, when you dropped your head, trembling behind closed doors, whispering words you didn't think I'd hear. I saw when the weight was too much, when your knees buckled beneath invisible burdens, and still, you didn't let go. You didn't quit. Even in silence, even in pain, even when you questioned everything, you stayed. You kept walking when your legs felt like stone. You kept loving when your heart was bleeding. You kept trusting me, even when I felt distant. That was the test. I didn't test your strength by how loudly you prayed in the light. I tested your surrender when the darkness refused to lift. And child, listen closely, you passed. Not with perfection, not without scars, but with a broken hallelujah that shook heaven itself. You thought I had forgotten you, didn't you? That I had turned away. That your obedience was lost in the noise of your life. But every yes you gave when your soul screamed no was seen. Every step you took through fire, I counted them. And when you whispered, I can't do this anymore, I leaned in. Not to correct you, but to cover you. I didn't abandon you when you broke. I wrapped myself around you so the breaking wouldn't break you entirely. What you didn't know is that this was the final wall, the last hidden stronghold I allowed to shake. Not because I wanted you to suffer, but because I knew what was buried beneath it. I knew what you didn't know yet. The strength I planted there. The faith you hadn't yet seen. The anointing that only pressure could awaken. Don't skip. Stay with me now. Something huge is waiting for you just beyond this moment. This test wasn't punishment. It was permission. Permission to step into who you truly are. I love what shook you because I trusted what I placed inside you. You were not being punished, you were being proven. The heavens are not silent, they've been watching. The angels have stood in awe, not because you were perfect, but because you didn't walk away when it made no sense to stay. The kind of obedience, that kind of love, it is rare, and it moves me. My child, something is shifting now, quietly but powerfully. A door you thought was sealed forever is unlocking, not by force, not by effort, but because the test has been passed, and the reward has been released. Stay till the end, because I haven't just been watching, I've been preparing. And what comes next will be the revelation of why it had to be this hard, why it had to break you to build you. And now, the page turns. You almost didn't see the shift, did you? Because the moment it happened looked too much like failure. It didn't come with fanfare. No lightning. No sound from heaven. It came quietly, like a breath after weeping, like peace after a storm. But it was real. That moment when you didn't feel strong enough, yet kept breathing anyway. That's when the breakthrough began. I didn't need you to prove anything to me. I already knew the depth of your heart. But there were things in you that could only awaken when everything else fell silent. Not because I enjoy your pain, but because you carry something too holy to be birthed in ease. The hardest test was never about loss. It was about letting go. Letting go of what you thought life had to be. Letting go of the timeline you wrote for yourself. Letting go of the belief that you had to earn what I already called yours. Stay till the end, because what I'm revealing now changes everything you thought was over. Do you remember the night you didn't cry anymore because even your tears felt tired? That wasn't weakness. That was the point when your soul released the last of its resistance. That's when I began to write a new chapter, one you never expected because it starts in a place you never chose. You didn't pass this test by fixing things. You passed it by refusing to abandon what I whispered, even when it no longer made sense. That unshakable yes, it was your breakthrough's foundation. Something huge is waiting for you, but not in a way you think. It won't come by effort. It will arrive because of what you do next. It's already moving because of what you've already done. Endure. You thought I'd reward your performance. I'm rewarding your surrender. This is where things start unfolding. Not because you're finally ready, but because your heart has become a place where glory can land. The shaking made room. The breaking made space. And what I'm about to fill it with will redefine your definition of restoration. This isn't about returning to how things used to be. I'm not rebuilding the old. I'm establishing the new. What was always meant to be, but could only rise after the fire refined what couldn't come with you. Stay here. Don't scroll. You're standing at the threshold. And what's on the other side is the reason I allowed every unanswered question, every delay, and every silence. The reason is about to be revealed. The truth you didn't see while you were hurting is this. I was rearranging the unseen while you were trying to survive the scene. What looked like collapse was alignment. What felt like delay was precise timing. You weren't falling behind. You were being repositioned for a moment that could only meet you here. There was a decision you made when no one applauded. A quiet choice to stay honest when pretending would have been easier. That single moment carried more weight than 1,000 visible victories. It shifted the direction of your life, even though nothing around you changed that day. Heaven marked it. You moved without realizing you crossed a line that cannot be uncrossed. I didn't remove the pressure because pressure was doing its work. It was revealing where your heart truly rested. Not on outcomes. Not on people. Not on guarantees. But on me. That's why the test ended when it did. Not when you asked for relief, but when you stopped needing it to trust me. Don't skip. What I'm opening now explains the silence. You wondered why I didn't rescue you faster. Why answers felt withheld. Why clarity came only after damage had already been done. The reason is simple and holy. If I had intervened sooner, you would have kept believing your strength was the source. I was teaching you a deeper dependence, not to weaken you but to prepare you for what's coming next. What lies ahead cannot be sustained by willpower. It requires intimacy. Authority flows from closeness, not control. The breaking removed the illusion that you could manage destiny without surrender. That illusion would have crushed you later. I removed it early. Something huge is waiting for you, and it won't announce itself loudly. It will arrive as peace in places that once panicked you. It will look like clarity where confusion used to live. It will sound like confidence without noise. You will recognize it not by excitement, but by steadiness. You passed my hardest test because you didn't let bitterness rewrite your heart. You didn't harden when disappointment knocked. You stayed soft in a season that tried to turn you cold. That softness is strength. It is also rare. It is also protected. Stay till the end, because this is where the reward begins to reveal its shape. What you thought was taken from you was actually redirected. What walked away made room. What didn't work spared you. What broke refined you. Nothing was wasted. Nothing slipped through my hands. Even the parts you still don't understand are accounted for. Very soon, you'll notice a shift in how you respond to familiar triggers. Old fears will knock and find no answer. Former doubts will speak and sound foreign. That's not time healing you. That's transformation settling in. The test is over. The preparation remains active. And the next step will require courage of a different kind, not endurance, but reception. Let yourself receive what I'm about to place in your hands. You're closer than you think. The next movement begins with responsibility, not applause. What you carry now is weightier than what you endured before, because it comes with clarity. You can sense it already. The way your discernment sharpened, the way noise no longer pulls you like it once did. That wasn't accidental. I entrusted you with sight because you proved you would not misuse it. You are stepping into a season where reactions matter more than reactions used to. Words carry further. Voices echo longer. Influence increases quietly before it becomes visible. This is why the test demanded maturity rather than speed. I needed your inner world aligned before your outer world expanded. There will be moments ahead when doors open unexpectedly and invitations arrive without explanation. You won't need to chase them. You won't need to announce yourself. What I've prepared recognizes you by resonance, not reputation. When it comes, you will feel peace instead of pressure. That is how you will know it's from me. Don't skip. A final truth must settle before the unveiling. What nearly destroyed you could never follow you forward. Certain attachments had to loosen. Certain expectations had to dissolve. Certain versions of you had to remain behind. I wasn't stripping you. I was simplifying you. Complexity would have sowed what's coming next. Like travels faster without excess weight. You will notice how differently you carry disappointment now. It doesn't define you. It doesn't derail you. It passes through without claiming residence. That shift marks readiness. The test trained your heart to stay anchored while circumstances move around it. Something huge is waiting for you, and it will ask for wisdom more than courage. You already prove you can stand in fire. What comes next requires steadiness when praise arrives, humility when doors open, restraint when power increases. These are quieter virtues, but they guard what matters most. You may wonder why I speak of guarding instead of celebrating. Celebration will come, but protection must come first. What I release will attract attention. Not all of it will be gentle. I trained your spirit to listen before responding so you can move without losing yourself again. Stay till the end, because this final layer matters. There will be a moment soon when you recognize the pattern breaking completely. A familiar fear will try to surface and fail. An old insecurity will attempt to speak and sound hollow. That will be your confirmation. Not fireworks. Not noise. Freedom is subtle when it becomes permanent. I am not restoring you to who you were before the breaking. I am establishing who you are now. The person you've become carries authority without force and compassion without compromise. That balance is rare. That balance is why the test was severe. Walk forward without urgency. What's aligned doesn't rush. Let opportunities meet you where you stand. Let conversations unfold naturally. Let trust rebuild at its own pace. Nothing meant for you will require you to abandon peace to obtain it. The story is not ending. It is stabilizing. The ground beneath you is firm now. What rises next will not collapse under pressure because it is built on what survived it. Remain attentive. Remain grounded. Remain open. What I watched you endure prepared you for what I am about to entrust. And now, the silence you once feared becomes the space where everything begins. The shift that's beginning now won't feel dramatic. It will feel natural. That's how true alignment works. What once felt forced now flows. You'll notice how ease replaces effort, how clarity replaces confusion. That's not coincidence. That's what obedience looks like when it matures, not louder, but lighter. In the next few days, you may find your spirit responding to places and people differently. What used to draw you in may feel distant. What once strained you may lose its grip. This isn't detachment. It's discernment. I've recalibrated your awareness so that peace becomes your guide, not pressure. There are conversations approaching that you don't need to rehearse. I go ahead of you. I've softened hearts. I've opened the unseen doors that lead to the very spaces you once thought were locked forever. What you feared was lost wasn't removed, it was preserved. Hidden for the right moment, stolen. Don't skip. This is the moment where restoration begins to take form. You'll find yourself hearing me in ways you never did before. Not because I'm speaking more, but because you've learned to listen differently. You don't just hear words now, you sense my rhythm. You pick up on the subtle nudges, the quiet redirections, the stillness that signals change. That kind of sensitivity was birthed through surrender, not striving. Something huge is waiting for you, not just in the physical, but in how you see the spiritual. I'm pulling back layers you didn't know were blocking your sight. The clarity I'm giving you will not only guide your steps, it will also protect your heart. You'll see what others miss, not to boast but to bless. This will be a season of sudden alignment. People will arrive who carry answers to things you stopped praying about. Opportunities will emerge in places you haven't looked in years. Old dreams will return, not to haunt you but to invite you into what's next. Stay alert. Not everything will announce itself with clarity. Some answers will come disguised as small beginnings. Stay till the end. You'll understand why I waited to release this until now. There's something sacred being handed to you, something I couldn't trust to an earlier version of you. Not because you weren't worthy, but because you weren't ready to protect what I'm about to give. You are now. Walk with quiet confidence. No need to explain. No need to defend. Your presence will carry weight because of where you've been. The authority you now carry can't be taught. It had to be walked through. The breaking wasn't wasted. It became your oil. Your name has been whispered in places you haven't yet stepped into. Heaven already made the announcement. Earth is just catching up. Let the next chapter unfold without forcing it. I'm writing the lines. Just keep turning the pages. You've come this far because the breaking didn't stop you. It prepared you. Now the oil from that crushing is meant to pour out and reach others. My child, this message you've just heard, it's not just for you. It's a fire to be carried. Souls are waiting. Hearts are trembling in silence, and your support is the spark that sets their freedom in motion. You've prayed, use me, Lord. This is how I'm answering you. When you give, through Super Thanks, YouTube membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are sowing into fields white with harvest. Rivers of healing will flow through your generosity. The seeds you plant today will awaken miracles in lives you will never meet, and in your own. Heaven records moments like this, the kind where you respond with faith, not hesitation. I declare blessing over every gift, peace over every heart, and divine provision over every sacrifice. Open your hands, open your heart, and give like the moment depends on it. Not every breakthrough arrives with thunder. Some arrive through recognition, when you realize you're no longer triggered by what once tormented you. That's how healing begins to speak, not with volume but with transformation. This is what's happening in you now. You're entering a stretch of time where choices will reveal what's truly changed. The opportunity to return to old patterns will present itself, but the difference now is in how you respond. You've grown past the need to be validated by things that once held your identity hostage. That's progress, not because you tried harder, but because you surrendered deeper. Watch how peace follows you now. Not because life became easier, but because your internal atmosphere has been redefined. I didn't just remove the storm around you. I built calm within you. The storm was the training ground. The calm is the evidence. Don't skip. A divine invitation is hidden within these next few moments. There's a door ahead that's connected to your endurance. You didn't ask for it. You didn't expect it. But I wrote it into your journey long before the pain ever arrived. And because you remained when everything tried to move you, this door is about to swing open. Favor is not just coming. It's already in motion. It's moving through places you haven't touched yet. Conversations are being prepared. People are being prompted. Paths are being cleared. You'll notice things falling into place without the friction you've grown used to. That's not luck. That's orchestration. Something huge is waiting for you, and it's layered in simplicity. The kind of shift that makes you breathe differently. Sleep deeper. Think clear. It's not just about dreams coming true. It's about peace finally settling in. This next phase will not demand you to hustle. It will call you to walk in rhythm with grace. The weight I'm placing in your hands isn't heavy. It's sacred and doesn't cry. It commissions. Stay till the end. There's more unfolding than you can see right now. You'll notice divine repetition in your days, the same message showing up in different ways. Pay attention. I'm speaking through subtlety. That stranger's words, that repeated verse, that dream you can't shake, all of them are threads I'm weaving together to bring clarity in layers. The season of isolation trained you to hear me without noise. And now, that same sensitivity will guide you through opportunity without confusion. I'm not calling you to strive anymore. I'm calling you to steward. Your impact is not in what you do next, but in how you carry what's already been placed inside you. The evidence of your growth isn't in applause. It's in the decisions no one sees. You've passed through the refining. Now comes the revealing. Prepare to recognize yourself in ways you've never known. Because what rises now carries my image. Something is shifting beneath the surface, not in dramatic bursts, but in the quiet realignment of your purpose. This is not about proving your worth. That was never in question. This is about awakening to what I planted within you before the hardship ever arrived. I'm leading you into a space where silence becomes strategy. You won't need to explain what's happening. You'll simply begin to move differently, with purpose, not pressure. I am giving you wisdom to know when to speak and when to hold back. This is not restraint born from fear, but from understanding the weight your words now carry. You'll notice how your appetite has changed. What once felt urgent no longer pulls at your attention. The things that used to fill your time now feel like clutter. That's not loss. That's refinement. I've sharpened your focus for the doors I'm opening. Don't skip. Something essential is unfolding that will answer what you've been asking in private. I am sending clarity in unusual packaging. Answers will always appear the way you imagined. Some will come through people you overlooked. Others through moments you almost missed. Stay present. This season rewards attentiveness. You'll be surprised how quickly things come together once alignment is complete. That's why I slowed you down, not to delay you, but to synchronize you. Timing isn't about being fast. It's about being ready when the moment arrives. And you are ready now. Something huge is waiting for you, and it's connected to what you thought would disqualified. I'm reviving the pieces you set aside, not because they failed, but because their time hadn't come. Watch what I resurrect, not in the past, but in your hands. You're not stepping backward. You're reclaiming what was yours from the beginning, with new understanding, with cleaner motives, with a heart that no longer needs to be seen, because it already knows it's known. Stay till the end. The revelation still unfolding will anchor your next move. You've outgrown the season you survive. That's why the old rhythm feels uncomfortable now. Don't fight the change. Don't shrink to fit what no longer matches your assignment. Elevation often feels like disconnection at first, not from people, but from old versions of yourself. You'll begin to notice the right voices being drawn to you, not by popularity, but by resonance. They won't need explanation. They'll recognize what's on you because they've been refined in the same fire. These are divine alignments, not just friendships, but kingdom connections. Woo gently. Don't need to force anything open. The doors I've assigned to you will recognize your arrival. The weight you carry now is spiritual, and it will be felt before a word leaves your mouth. This is the unveiling, and it begins not with a shout, but with a stillness that no storm can disturb. You've entered a moment where your past no longer holds the authority to define your next move. The weight of regret hath been lifted, not erased, but transformed. What once served as a wound now stands as wisdom. I didn't rescue you from the fire because I intended for the fire to reveal what couldn't be burned. There's a stillness surrounding you now, not because everything is perfect, but because your spirit has been anchored. You've stopped chasing answers from broken places. You've learned to wait without wavering, to trust without seeing, to breathe without needing permission. I want you to notice how peace has become louder than pressure. That's the sign. The chaos didn't disappear. Your position within it changed. You are not under it anymore. You're walking above it, because I've seated you higher than what once tormented you. Don't skip. What's about to rise depends on what you carry from here. The healing I've released into your life isn't temporary. It's foundational. You're no longer reacting from pain. You're responding from perspective. That shift will shape every room you enter, every word you speak, every decision you make. What broke you is now what builds others. There will be people drawn to your presence, not because you explain your story, but because your atmosphere tells the truth, that restoration is real. You won't need to convince anyone. Your life will reveal what grace has done. Something huge is waiting for you, and this time, it won't slip through your hands. I'm placing it firmly into your care, not as a reward, but as a responsibility. You're no longer in survival mode. You're in position. Conversations will begin to open layers of your calling that were hidden until now. Pieces that didn't make sense will begin to align. Encounters you forgot about will resurface with clarity. People from previous seasons may reappear, not to distract you, but to remind you of what's been redeemed. Stay till the end. This is where the purpose beneath the pain becomes visible. Your story is no longer about what you've endured. It's about what you now carry. I entrusted this weight to you because I knew you'd carry it with humility. You've proven that power in your hands will corrupt what I've placed in your heart. This isn't a return to what was. It's a commission into what's next. Every step from here is marked. Every word spoken from here is watched. You've been refined to move without explanation, because your obedience speaks louder than any defense. You passed the test not because you resisted the breaking, but because you trusted me through it. And now the promise begins to unfold. What unfolds now will feel unfamiliar because it requires trust without urgency. You're stepping into a phase where momentum builds without force, where progress happens without strain. I am teaching you to move from rest, not recovery. The difference matters. Recovery looks back. Rest looks forward. Your instincts have been recalibrated. You'll notice how quickly you recognize what doesn't belong anymore. Decisions won't feel heavy. Direction won't feel confusing. The clarity is not sudden wisdom. It is the residue of obedience lived out when no outcome was guaranteed. I am opening access to rooms you once thought were reserved for others. Not because you finally qualify, but because humility has made space for authority. The door responds to who you become, not what you've accomplished. That is why it opens quietly and stays open. Don't skip. There's a turning point hidden in what you're about to understand. The next blessing will test your stewardship more than your faith. Increase changes the sound around you. Opinions multiply. Expectations rise. I've prepared you for this by training your ear to recognize my voice above the noise. You won't need to defend what I establish. What's built on truth stands without explanation. Something huge is waiting for you, and it will arrive in layers. The first layer brings relief. The second brings responsibility. The third brings influence. Each layer depends on how gently you carry what comes before it. Rushing will blur the gift. Patience will preserve it. You may feel an urge to revisit old places for closure. Understand this clearly. Closure is not found by returning. It's found by understanding. You don't need to reopen doors I already sealed with purpose. What remains behind you has completed its assignment. Stay till the end, because this final insight will anchor you. I am entrusting you with discernment that protects both your heart and your future. You will know when to move forward and when to remain still. You will recognize alignment by peace, not excitement. You will measure progress by fruit, not applause. These are signs of maturity, not restraint. There will be moments when others misunderstand your quiet. Let them. Silence is not absence. It's containment. You're learning to hold what's precious without exposing it too soon. Timing guards promise. Exposure before readiness can dilute what I intend to multiply. Watch how favor begins to locate you rather than the other way around. Invitations will come without pursuit. Conversations will unlock pathways you never planned. These are confirmations, not coincidences. Receive them without surprise. You've been prepared for this exchange. I am not asking you to become someone new. I am revealing who was formed through every unseen decision. The test shaped your posture. The waiting refined your vision. The breaking purified your motive. Now the unfolding requires consistency, not intensity. Remain steady. Remain teachable. Remain grounded. The work ahead will be meaningful because it flows from wholeness rather than hunger. You won't need to prove your value. It will be evident in how you serve, how you listen, how you lead. The next steps will be clear at the right moment. Until then, carry peace as your compass. What I release next will recognize your readiness and meet you where you stand. This is not the end of the story. It is the moment the promise begins to speak for itself. The weight has shifted, not just in your spirit but in the realm around you. What once resisted is now yielding. What once delayed is now responding. You may not hear the full sound of it yet, but the alignment is active. The atmosphere has changed because you changed within it. What you're walking into doesn't require a new version of you. It requires the truest version of who I already refined. No more striving to become what I've already declared. No more apologizing for carrying grace. No more hiding what cost you everything to carry with integrity. You are not fragile. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are positioned. And what comes next won't be a test. It will be a transfer. I'm placing keys in your hand, not to doors you've begged to open, but to gates you never imagined were yours to walk through. These gates open to legacy, to impact, to fulfillment, They lead into the assignments that have been waiting for your maturity to arrive. Don't miss this. The evidence of your passing the test isn't in what's changing around you. It's in how your spirit remains settled in the waiting, faithful in the quiet, ready without fear. It's the mark of one who had been trusted, not just tested. The enemy tried to fracture you before this moment, not because of your weakness, but because he feared what you'd carry once you came out of that fire with your heart still intact. You've carried grief without losing wonder. You've walked through storms without losing direction. You've been stretched without snapping. And now, heaven responds. You'll begin to feel what favor truly is, not a reward for surviving, but the seal of divine confidence in who you've become. You are no longer being rescued. You are being revealed. Stay sensitive. The conversations ahead will not be ordinary. The connections I'm bringing will carry acceleration. The places you enter will feel tailor-made, not because of coincidence, but because I've been preparing them to receive you as you are now. This is your moment, not born from performance, but born from promise. I was there through the breaking. I watched you say yes when no one saw. I witnessed every trembling prayer, every delayed celebration, every quiet act of obedience. And now I affirm you, well done. Walk forward. Not to prove anything, but to receive everything I've already placed in motion. Your hands are ready. Your heart is steady. Your future is unfolding. This is your appointed time. Amen. You've passed the test. Now your reward isn't just what God gives you. It's what God does through you. This message wasn't just a word. It was a call. And you were chosen to carry the fire forward. There are hearts breaking silently right now, waiting for the light you just received. You said, God, let me be a vessel. This is your moment to overflow. When you give, whether through super thanks, YouTube membership, or the PayPal link in the video description, you become part of heaven's harvest. Your generosity is not a donation. It's a declaration. It speaks of faith. It releases favor, and it opens floodgates that no man can close. The oil of obedience will not run dry in your house. I bless your giving with divine increase, supernatural protection, and a river of joy that never stops flowing. The time is now. Stretch your faith. Give boldly. Step into your legacy. My beloved child, before you move on, hear me in this moment. What you have just received was not ordinary, and I ask you now to hype this video as an act of agreement with what I have done in you. When you press hype, you are declaring, I broke, I was tested, and I passed. You are lifting this word so others who are breaking in silence can find the same strength you found here. Let your hype be a witness, not noise, but testimony, that my hardest tests still lead to my greatest purposes. Now listen closely, because I want your voice to remain here after the video ends. Go into the comments and declare what you survived. Write one sentence that says what tried to break you, and how you are still standing. Speak it boldly. When you comment, you are sealing the message, and your words will meet another soul at the exact moment they need confirmation that I was watching them too. Let the comments become an altar of victory, not just conversation. And now, my child, hear my invitation to remain with me. If these words reached you, if this voice steadied you, if this message carried you through something no one else saw, then subscribe and stay where my voice continues to meet you. This channel is not content, it is covering. Each message is sent for timing, for testing seasons, for moments when strength must be rebuilt quietly. Subscribe now, and let me continue to speak to you before the breaking, during the fire, and after the victory. Do not delay this moment. Type the video,